An inquiry has been launched into the causes of the shooting last year that so shocked the close-knit community.
Parents of the victims are campaigning
calls for gun laws,
killing 12 students and a
Kevin
teacher.
Cachadorian.
It's important we understand this phenomena.
February 14th, 2001. Dear Franklin, I've been trying to recall some positive memories of Kevin. You know what comes to mind? 2 weeks when he was 10, when he got sick with that bad fever. His normal mode of being reversed. He was gentle to me and to Celia. He accepted my care and even allowed me to read to him. I selected Robin Hood. He loved it. But he rejected you, Franklin. He was too sick to keep it up with you. And I realized then how much energy it took to generate the other Kevin. What lay beneath the rage I was astonished to discover was despair. He wasn't mad. He was sad. So how do you make your child happy? When he was well, we bought him his first bow and arrow set. Remember? He liked it. But nothing we could give him filled the spiritual void. Still, every adolescent wrestles with existential despair, right? Not all of them commit mass murder. So were there other warning signs, incidents that prefigured Thursday? Well, yes, Franklin, there were. Take the night I took Kevin out on a date. Maybe you're right. It was a weird thing to do with your 14-year-old son. But I wanted one more glimpse of the other Robin Hood Kevin. When I came downstairs dressed to kill. Hello, Kevin. I'm pleased to see he has also made an effort. Instead of his usual too small styling, he sports well-cut black slacks and a white fencing shirt I hadn't seen before. He looks dashing. But at the restaurant he eats nothing. And in answer to my questions about school, says nothing. So, what do you want to talk about?
Nothing.
We sit. I struggle defiantly through my starter. Kevin doodles on the paper tablecloth, but strangely he cracks first.
Okay. Here's a topic.
Aha.
Why do you hate America?
It's ugly.
All of it?
The accent. I hate it.
Is that why you say tomato?
You think that's pretentious?
Don't you?
I smile. He smiles. He returns to doodling, and I pour myself some more wine.
Anything else?
I hate the lack of accountability in this country. Fat people suing fast food chains, smokers suing
tobacco companies, right? I heard that.
Actually, you know what I really hate about this country? Americans. They're loud, fat, and spoiled. It's all consume, consume, consume. They boast about wealth like it's all that matters. That and democracy. They're so self-righteous about it, yet totally ignorant of other cultures. And worst of all, Americans have no idea the rest of the world can't stand them. Kevin is nodding, actively listening to me. He has drawn me out like a skilled conversationalist. I'm about to remark on this when...
Wow. It's a whole lot of adjectives.
Kevin nods to the tablecloth. He hadn't been doodling. He'd been taking notes.
Okay, let's see. Spoiled. You sure you need a whole bottle of wine? Ignorant. Yeah, well, you may have been to Malaysia, but have you been to the Grand Canyon? Boasting. What was that whole riff about if it wasn't showing off? Loudly, with no idea other people can't stand them. Well, far as I can see, only difference between you and all them dumbass Americans is that you are not fat. And maybe I'd rather have a big cow of a mother than one who is so damn self-righteous.
He'd assassinated me. I pay the bill. We won't conduct another mother-son outing until he's behind bars. Happy Valentines. Eva. February 16th, 2001. Dear Franklin, in my last letter, I mentioned warning signs. Well, there was one more that, in retrospect, you have to take responsibility for ignoring. I was working late at the office when you phoned. You said,
"Drive carefully, Eva. She's in surgery. The doctors are looking after her.
You said,
Her life is not in danger.
You said,
She's going to be all right."
That's what you said. But when I get to Nyack Hospital, your collapsed expression tells a different story. We sit in the same waiting room where I'd agonized over Kevin's broken arm. Perhaps that's why, when you tell me what happened to Celia, I hear a lie. But we don't fight. Not there. You hold my hand. You continue to hold it while the surgeon tells us he can't save Celia's eye. We stumble out to the parking lot. We have 2 cars to drive home, and I sense we are at a junction of sorts. You must feel the same, because you invite me into your truck to get warm. We sit a long time. Long enough to fry.
I can't believe you left it out.
I didn't.
You used it on a Saturday. I remember.
I put it away. In that high cabinet. Celia couldn't have reached it. But even if
Eva.
someone left it out, why would Celia pour drain cleaner in her own eye?
I have no idea. Kevin did everything he should have. He rinsed her eye, then he called the ambulance, then he called me. The right order. He was a star.
But, Franklin, it doesn't add up. The burning. It needs time. It would have taken time. Maybe he did wash it out.
No.
But when? When he was finished?
That's enough! Don't you ever say that again, not to anyone. You won't take responsibility for leaving the bottle out.
Responsibility. That would be so
So you call our
much
son
easier
what?
than knowing he hates
A torture?
her. I'm frightened, Franklin.
So am I, Eva. You know I'm not big on shrinks, but maybe we should talk to somebody.
About Kevin.
About you. I think you need help.
Why didn't I simply take Celia and get out? Well, maybe your former jet-setter wife was afraid. No, not of leaving. Of defeat. And I loved you, Franklin. I still do. Nevertheless, I did feel under siege. Even more so when Mary Wolford came to call. She was whippet-thin, immaculately groomed in a Chanel suit.
Mrs. Cacciadorian?
Yes? Who'd have thought that in a scant 3 years this woman would be shambling unwashed round the Nyack Grand Union and stooping low enough to smash all my eggs?
I'm Laura Wolford's mother.
On my doorstep, her approach is less direct.
For the last year or so, my daughter has suffered from a certain condition.
Mrs. Wolford goes on to tell me in great detail about Laura's life-threatening anorexia.
She skips meals, buries her breakfast in the trash.
But I'm afraid my sympathy is limited.
Laxatives,
My own daughter is still in the hospital, and not because she had done something stupid to herself.
Last September, she got so frail, she was hospitalized with an intravenous drip, which she would tear out if not watched. You get the picture? We had been making progress. Laura even gained a little weight. Then last night, I caught my beautiful daughter vomiting her dinner because one of the boys at school keeps telling her she's fat. And that boy is Kevin, Mrs. Cacciadorian, your son.
I'm afraid I can't look surprised.
Now, Laura begged me not to come here today, but it is up to parents to manage our children's destructive behavior. We take responsibility for Laura's. Will you please take responsibility for your sons?
How? Have a little talk with him, perhaps?
You find this funny?
Mrs. Wolford, do you have any boys?
Laura is our only child.
Then let me explain. If Franklin or I say anything to Kevin, the consequences for your daughter will be even worse. Maybe it's better you teach Laura, what do the kids say, to suck it up?
Thank you. For nothing.
During the parental negligence trial, Mary Wolford would repeat my hard-bitten advice for the judge. But on my doorstep that day, I just couldn't feel responsible. I felt too helpless. Eva. February 17th, 2001. Dear Franklin, in case you're wondering, I did not ply Celia for details about the accident. I asked one question. What happened?
Kevin, I got something in my eye. Kevin helped me wash it out.
That's all she ever said. I never did have the courage to ask Kevin. Perhaps that's why I had to ask about his other victims. The caustic reasoning behind his choice. Why Greer Ulanov?
She had buck teeth.
Greer was into politics. Circulated a petition when Clinton was impeached. Ziggy Randolph?
Ballet fag.
Ziggy was a dancer with a professional future. Joshua Lakronsky?
Movie nerd.
He's been brought on board the Miramax film as a script consultant.
A dream come true.
Mouse Ferguson?
Computer geek.
Jeff Reeves?
Music snob.
Soweto Washington? The media assumed you chose him because he was black.
I killed 9 kids. One's of Negro persuasion, and bingo, it's a race crime.
Soweto was a basketball star. You shot him through both thighs, but left him alive. Why?
I made a mistake. Next.
Miguel Espinosa? Because he was Latino?
Because whenever he'd talk, he'd try to throw in the word echelon.
Laura Wolford?
Did her a favor. First sign of a wrinkle and she'd have killed herself anyway.
You shot Laura first. Through the heart. Was that what Thursday was about? Unrequited love?
Tell yourself that if you like.
I could tell everybody. There's a journalist, Jack Marlin, very interested in my side of the story.
Why did you care what girls I did and didn't like before I whacked a couple? What did you care about anything that went on in my head until it got out?
You want me to feel sorry for you? Well, first I'll feel sorry for all those kids, their parents, my daughter, and everyone else you've damaged. Then maybe I'll see if there's any pity left for you! It took a lot out of me, but I have my answer. He chose those particular kids because they were passionate about something. They had found a purpose to existence. And he hated them for it. Eva.